Starting recording as well. Welcome everyone. I will have the VOD up later on YouTube. So if you missed the actual stream, you can still see the questions answered on the VOD later on our YouTube channel. So once again, hello everyone, and welcome to the dev stream and Q&A. Let me just quickly set up a lobby and then I can take down the preview screens. Yeah, let me disable some of the mods as well. They might be a little confusing. Because I have a lot of mods on normally. Oh, interesting, the stream actually disconnects when I close the game. That's a funny thing, but
that's
I guess it's
awesome.
back. All right, we got the lobby up. And while people are joining, let me do quick introductions. Let's see who we got in the stream today. Of course, myself, Flebuster, and we got Express, who is gonna be helping me go through the questions that have been dropped. And we got Hugo.
Hello.
We got Semuroko.
Hello.
And we got Skryza, who doesn't have audio on at the moment, but they'll help us in the games anyway at the moment. Anyway, so no one in the game yet, okay. Oh, some issues with the password. That's what you get when you type it with the streamer mode on, I guess. Fixed. Alrighty. And here we are. Also brought some classic friends. We got the Nat and we got the Soraworm here. And once again, welcome everyone in the chat. Good of you to join us. And let us know if there's any issues with the visuals or the audio. Once we have one more player join, we can get started with the first game. Now the question is, should we start it easy or should we jump right into Ambition? I think most people should have seen it by now, so I don't think it's that kind of spoiler anymore, so we can probably play on it. It has a lot of new stuff, of course.
Summertime, it's up to you, really.
Good enough.
I didn't want to play it today, but do we want to start with that or do some other field first? What do you guys think? Well, what do you guys in the chat think? Do you want us to play on the new field right away or start with something else? It'll take us a while to go through the questions that have been dropped on Discord beforehand, because there were quite a few nice questions. Thank you for those.
Oh yeah, for those unaware, Ambition is the new field you can unlock via the current event.
That is correct. And it also features an all-new panel type, the Warp node, which I'm pretty excited about. New field, why not? All right, I see the chat is in favor of the new field. Let's go.
Yeah.
And we are getting some questions about it too. But all right, let's start the game to begin with. I forgot to check what my challenges are for the actual event. But it's okay. Make sure to not cheat and see what I'm playing as.
I'm not sure if it's like an actual question per se, but we'd have someone asking like, who made the background for the new map.
Yep. I would say that counts as a question. I'll get to it soon once I finish decking myself.
All right.
No, that's a triple combo. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's see. And of course we have the new card models as well, so I should use one of those. Let's go with the Neo card model. I really like the colors on this one. Even though I didn't expect to be using it because it has the smaller artwork and I kind of like the ones with the big artwork, but I ended up really liking the bright colors on the cards here.
Yeah, I agree.
All right then. So while the game is starting, let's start by answering today's question about the new map. And yes, the background was made by Rafa based on some concept art designs I made. I think I'll actually make like a full Patreon post about the development of just like the map and its background, because there were a lot of steps that went into it and I have all kinds of footage about it, so might as well. So I'll do that later. It kind of almost got out of hand, like, could we do this, could we do that? We haven't done like a new 3D background for a while, but I think it turned out quite cool. Dragon Daughter says, Neo is my favorite too, due to how much it helps with reading and stars are easy to see. And yeah, like the original idea was basically just that it has a bigger text, so it's like easy to read, like that was the main idea. I didn't expect to actually like the model so much with just because of the colors.
Okay, guess. Oh yeah, there's a current question from the Steam chat broadcast. How was a new node war panels thought of and done?
Right. I actually have a lot of stuff about that as well, and I think I'll also make a separate Patreon post just talking about the development of the warp panel, warp node panel, because again we have a lot of stuff about it. But basically, it has been in on the design step for a long time. Like, we really wanted to add a teleporter panel basically, because I feel we have kind of exhausted most of the field shapes that are like normally playable without any extra complications, even using warp moves, etc., as some kind of teleports. So we really needed like a teleport that lets you go to a specific place on the map so that we can make more complicated map designs. So that's actually been like something we want to do like probably at least 2 years ago already. Like, it's definitely been on the to-do for a while. And with Azure working on the field editor, he started work on that as well. So we finally got to define the specific ways it works. And of course we chose the most fun way it should work instead of the easiest to implement, and we run into a lot of issues. We basically exhausted every possible way you can think of to soft lock the game with the warp nodes, and probably some that you wouldn't even think about. But yeah, it's been something we want to do for a long time, and I'm very happy that we finally have it in, because it finally makes split maps basically reasonable to play.
It definitely helps with pathing with regards to like disconnected areas. And it's not through just a method of like wandering into a warp panel that's a dead end. It has more granularity to it for sure.
Yeah, you have 4 different types of warp move panels, so you can have like 4 types of pathing using those on one map, and of course you can also still use normal warps, why not? But that gives like a lot of variety in the different paths you can do, and I really want to basically use the new map to showcase it. I hope people like it. And we will probably go back to some of the older maps that have some issues due to their size or split map design, and we might be adding warp nodes to some of those as well.
So another question here is, what's the progress on the level editor update?
Well, because Azure was busy actually implementing the new panel type, and doing it also involved like a big rework to the way that fields are basically written. There was no progress on the public editor for a while, but it will be updated in the future to include the new warp nodes. Just don't have an ETA for it at the moment. ETA. So since he's not here, I can't really give any ETA for it at the moment, but it's gonna come.
We have another question here. Any chance of a setting to increase player count, 5 to 8, for example?
Well, that's complicated topics, because one of the things that limits the player count to begin with is simple screen state. Like at the moment we are using the 4 corners, and even all the space between the corners is basically used at the moment, so it would be kind of difficult to slot in more players in that sense. And of course, all of the game's code assumes 4 players at the moment, so enabling more would also probably be a very big undertaking. Maybe it's not as big as I think, because we already support 8 players in the sense that we can have 4 spectators. So they are already included in the networking, so maybe it wouldn't be quite as bad as I think, but most likely it would.
Alright, let me see some questions from the Discord here. Oh wait, we got a new one. Steam. I'm just going through Steam ones first because they're more in the moments, but if you don't mind, the Discord questions are more like
yeah, that sounds good.
I can refer to them back anytime. So yeah, over here, what inspired the new events? Why choose to do the Blackboard quest type progression?
That is an excellent question. Well, there is no template for it. Like every time we make a new event, we basically have to figure out what kind of gameplay do we want for it. And the main thing is that we look at the event itself, like we look at the story, the characters involved and everything like that, and see like, is there something in here that gives us an idea for like the gameplay event. And for the Season 3 events, we have had the running theme of these tag team games, and we have been doing slight changes to the formula. Like this time we added the ability to change the regeneration and KO delay. But we have been using those as like the basic gameplay. But we still need to do like the actual event gameplay on top of that, which is like the progression. Like, do we use some kind of map or some kind of points or some currency, or what do we do? And in this case, I don't remember if there was like a specific inspiration for the Blackboard idea, but we did spend a long time thinking about like what kind of gameplay we would have for this. So I think the tasks just came from the idea of, okay, let's basically do training for the characters to get stronger, and then how do we visualize that? And I think that turned into Blackboard. Like that was the basic process in this case.
All right, let me just peruse these questions. One sec, where was I here? Let's see. Oh, why not? Okay, stupid question, but in a way, but when could we expect to see the next character pack release?
I wouldn't say it's a stupid question. People are often interested in the DLC release dates, although it's also kind of a funny topic in multiple ways. Like, well, I won't take this on a tangent, but to answer just the question of when will the next DLC come, I can say it will be sometime fairly soon. definitely before the end of the year. We basically have like almost all the resources for it already, so it's in the implementation stage. Like I've talked about this previously, probably on the other dev streams, maybe some other places. But oh yeah, I should probably look at what I'm doing in the game sometimes. Some of us using the same home panel type as I am, so I went for that instead of my own. Well, no big deal. So let's not get distracted at all. So actually producing a DLC is like a very long process. Like it takes at least half a year with all the things involved in it, like planning, art production, voice production, which involves casting, editing, all the different things, and then after you have all the assets, you can start implementing and then testing and so on. So it's a long process. And once you have all the assets, you are kind of like in the home stretch at that point.
All right, can we get a hint on what Popo Derby is about?
Interesting question, huh?
I think we have dropped some hints, but let's see. Is there something
It was on
we
the
can...
roadmap.
Yeah, it is.
Is there something we can answer without answering it? A hint that doesn't answer the question.
That's a developer's answer, alright.
Okay, let's get on a broad level in the reply. It's gonna be something that can maybe in some ways be compared to the Fish-a-Fish event or game mode or whatever you want to call it.
Okay, onto the Discord questions. When are we getting the return of the 30 chapter limit for Bounty Hunt? I don't see it there anymore.
Oh yeah, that was something we tried during the Bounty Hunt event, and actually something that I meant to put on the survey and I completely forgot about, because I want to see if people actually liked it or not. So that's a good reminder.
Right, yeah, it was basically just event limited. I think it was kind of like a way to also check out the reception related. So yeah, try to
yeah, I
keep
mean,
in mind
we
for the
use
next one, I
the
guess.
event basically to see if people like it or not, and if it turns out that people like it, then we can make it permanent. But since we forgot to put it in the survey, I guess we'll probably try it in the next rerun as well, and then we will do a survey about it.
Yeah, it's just really within consideration because like we've been trying to address pain points with Bounty Hunt as a whole, and we're trying to like investigate which angles to approach it from. For example, from the actual mechanics itself to the possible duration. We want to respect people's time too. So we're trying to what's the word? Just investigate it as a whole. So this was like one of the ways to like also give it a bit of an event spin as well and see how it's received, and depending on the feedback there, see if that's a possible method to address some further pain points for Bounty Hunt as well.
Yep, yeah.
But yeah, let me see here.
Because we are
Next
aware that
question.
some of the sentiment people have, at least some people have against Bounty Hunt, is that it feels like it can take a very long time, especially when no one in the lobby is like really paying attention, because you have to actually be making correct decisions to advance the game in Bounty Hunt. You can't just like wait for chapters to pass and eventually someone will win. So
Yeah, go ahead.
So adding the hard limit option would kind of answer that, like, the game will eventually... People know that the game will eventually end, basically.
Yeah, so basically, one of the things we have noticed, like, while we're on this tangent anyway, because it is kind of an opportune topic, like, we have noticed that from definitely a very casual perspective, the mode can take a lot of time. But we've also had some people, and even in testing, show that if you really know what you're doing, you can accomplish the mode in a really short span of time, like within the span of like a regular game even. So we've been trying to look into it as one angle, for example, and i.e. look into improving the quality of life of the mode and to help the player actually know and pursue what they want to pursue to help progress their goals faster. So that's one example and one thing we've been thinking about. The other as well is, as aforementioned, we want to respect people's time. We know people are just playing a game for fun here, and they have their own commitments as well. We know that bounty hunts can take a bit more time in general, hence increased rewards. So that was the other angle, and why we tried to experiment a bit with the 30 chapter limit as well. Just give it was an opportunity there.
Yep.
And yeah, we're just generally monitoring and seeing how things fare, and when we have time, we try to address the pain points more as we can. It's always a general process for just improving the game at large, really.
By the way, Press, when you give a question, can you also like give the name of the person who left it, because the people, who, especially the ones who will be watching the VOD, won't be seeing it.
Oh, should I mention names too?
Yep.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, FRB in the Discord, FRB fan Rollier gave that question.
All right.
And now back to Steam. Let's see.
Short note to say that Bob Ernington from the QA team has joined us.
Chipoyo.
All right. Yeah. Welcome.
Let's see here. Okay, so Game Boy Matthew asks a question. I'm sure this question has been asked before, but can you tell us anything about how playing custom levels with friends and online will work?
Well, basically, once it's in the workshop, it's gonna be the basic idea would be that if you, at least my understanding is that the idea would be that if you join a lobby, you would like automatically download that map. I think that's how it's supposed to work with workshop maps. And when it comes to like other considerations, such as can you still get like normal rewards from those games, because some of those maps can be pretty wonky, that's still under consideration.
Okay, let's see. Okay, May #1 Kanata fan asks, which units would you say have been the best balanced upon release, and which one or ones the worst balanced upon release?
Huh.
You could answer first, and I can answer after, maybe.
Well, personally, I feel like, okay, my perspective may be a bit biased because I'm there for like the whole QA process, and we do so much tuning on those to get rid of the rough edges. So compared to how the units may be originally, everything that we release is always like very balanced in my opinion. But of course, that doesn't mean that there may not be any issues. Like I especially remember Lone Rider at release being a bit too strong.
Okay, what about an example for best balanced?
Well, I mean, that's like most characters, I would say. It's kind of hard to say, like, what's the best balance?
You gotta choose one. It's comparatives.
Well, let's say Popomi, for example. Like, we put a lot of effort into the Popomi release, and I feel we managed to nail the difficulty quite fine. Like, I don't remember any concerns about having to change her after release at all, so that's good.
In terms of to follow up on that point earlier, just aforementioned on worst balance, I guess it's not. I'm not sure if I could say a trend or not, but I guess whenever we put characters in testing and try to gauge how effective they are, I guess we somewhat underestimate just the raw power of movements, because movement plus good stat line, because first it was Lone Rider, then it was Jailbird and Mimyu, who these characters go under dispute a lot during testing. Then we're like, there's always so many unknowns you can try to guesstimate, gauge about. And it seems like, for example, with Mimyu, Jailbird as well, their sheer uptime, even with their penalty, their sheer uptime with their stats made them, I guess, a force to be reckoned with. And so, lesson learned. We gotta manage not just combat or longevity as factors, but also like raw movement power. Along with that, we have that to reflect back on as well. And I guess keep in mind for the future. But yeah, like I guess Mimi Jailbird's one example of possibly comparatively a worst balanced one because she ended up doing so well. In terms of best balanced,
There's always a lot that goes into balance, and by the time our unit releases, there can be many scenarios. Like, often we end up with something we are very happy about and we don't expect any trouble. But there are also scenarios where we keep like adjusting our unit like all the way up to the release, and even at that point we are like, this is probably fine, but if it needs changes, then we can do this and this. Like we already have like a backup plan because we are not quite sure if it's actually quite there in the end, even though we like tried all kinds of different things.
Well.
Like in some cases, you just can't really know how it's gonna work in like 1,000 games, no matter how much you play test. If there's like something a bit special about the kit.
And yeah, like honestly, all this is just a large case of project management in general. So whenever we have these testing periods, I won't go into it, I guess, too much. But yeah, there's always so much human resources we can allocate and effort and focus onto things. And so, for example, say one character gets more of a focus, we could possibly have a bit less of that on another character. So it really depends. Like we just try to, manage things as a whole. Make sure things are really smooth and streamlined and playable. We want to be fun as well. We try to gauge contingencies because there's a lot of ways people can react to things, honestly, when you have a large enough user base. So we try to account for that, really. But yeah, things happen.
And we also have some comments by Chipoyo in the actual game chat. Not sure if you noticed those.
Yeah, that's what I was touching upon.
Okay.
With the focus work.
Yeah, but that also happens like sometimes when we release two characters, one of them takes a lot more effort to get right, and then some, even though the other character might be like a little simpler, something ends up kind of overlooked because we don't focus that much on their balance because it seems like a smaller problem.
So for example, back during that testing period, we have, and we go through things a lot. We had a lot of like consideration towards how to gauge Krillin pajamas, because not going in too much, but we try to gauge like how they behave. How do we try to compare to other units and how effective they are to those? We don't want to try to power creep, right? We want to try to make them all generally equally fun to play in their own way. So, for example, there's a lot of focus on how Krillin pajamas was developing. For example, because their passive basically gives them another form of damage negation, which is what evade used to be for. So, for example, their one method of defense accomplishes two methods at once. That's something to consider, right? And so, back when a lot of focus was on them, on Mimi Jailbird, we did our comparisons, right, and trying to gauge them. And for example, we we do like statistical comparisons. We try to do factual comparisons. But it still seemed, I guess, a bit overlooked and too much, I guess.
We also have a comment by Dragon Daughter on Steam. I like how you put a jail into ambition, and yeah, that's like my personal charm point on this field. I hope some people will get really mad playing this on stream sometimes and ending up in jail like 10 turns in a row. That's my personal wish list.
Oh, sorry, I was scrolled up in the Steam chat. I thought there was no more new comments. Sorry about that. Let me scroll down. Sarah, what voice actors do you wish you could cast for characters?
Whoa, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
This is my question too. What about English?
Okay, that's well. Let me think about that first. Yeah.
I do want to say that I do recall you saying before that nowadays, whenever we're looking for a voice actor, and when you think of a voice actor that's like a similar voice to what we want, we can just get that voice actor now. So a lot of times we can just get our first choice of voice actor.
We just get people. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, of course, not always. It's not quite that easy, but in general, it's reasonable. Like, we don't need to like ignore a voice actor like because they're like too famous or something. We can try to get anyone basically. So that's nice.
It's a whole other process in of itself. It's a segment of project management. You gotta, I imagine you gotta coordinate some things. Like I tend to see you do, right? If you want to go into that, if you don't want to, it's up to you. But yeah, it's like a sort of coordination as well.
But as for someone that I would like to see in the game who is not there yet, would be nice to get Aoi Yuki into the game.
Okay, I Like Birds asks, how involved is Orange Juice in the development of the game still? I'm under an impression that they're still in charge of character designs and story writing, but I don't know about gameplay additions and whatnot. If you can answer, then I understand.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there as well. Well, like the short answer is that they have always been involved in the game's development, and in the recent years, it's been more on the design side. So character designs, voices, but also like all the new units basically. Like when we get their like kits, the basic kit like stats and abilities, hypers and so on. Like those basically come all from the OJ in general. And of course, then we still need to do all the balancing and so on, but usually all of those concepts come from OJ. And stories and stuff like that, yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, just mentioned like DJM mentioned stories, so I forgot to mention that. Yeah, like most of the stories also come from OJ.
Okay. Happy Monday. Would you be open to adding more neutral units, bounty hunt enemies, moss golem, as playable characters?
Certainly. It's something that we pretty much periodically discuss, and like playable boss golem will definitely eventually happen. Like we added the other bosses, so why not that as well?
We have a question by Game Boy Matthew. Is there any plans someday to add more invaders to bounty hunts?
Yeah, if there's like a good impetus to do it, I don't see why not. We would like to see more players in Bounty Hunt overall, so that's like the bigger priority in terms of Bounty Hunt. Like adding a new invader will not make like a big overall impact on the game mode. So.
Sorry, I got lost in Steam chat. Let me scroll back to where I was. Right, the invader question. Let's see.
All right, we have one free slot, so one of the spectators can jump in there.
Gotta decide it.
Bobber.
Okay, I see I'm caught up to Steam questions. Let me go back to Discord. Let's see. I gotta scroll back up.
All right.
Sure then. Remember, I'm sick. I'm not supposed to think at the moment.
Well, I was definitely thinking a lot in the previous game.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, these are how to preface this. They're not very black and white questions and answers. You can answer if you want. They're kind of silly, but Mabayu Aki asks, what is the favorite animal of Haruka Canada? And if a magical creature offered a wish to chew in exchange for being a magical girl, what would it be? You can, you don't want to. It's a bit silly. It's up to you.
Yeah, just a sec. I'll finish my decking.
But it is quote unquote lore-ish, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, sorry, I had to actually use my brain on doing my picks, so can you repeat the question?
I'm gonna choose.
Okay, there's two.
friend.
First one is, what is the favorite animal of Haruka Canada? If you don't know, you don't know.
I don't think we have any indicator in the lore at the moment to answer that with any confidence.
Okay. If a magical creature offered a wish to choose in exchange for being a magical girl, what would it be? If you don't know, you don't know.
I think she would want to be a normal girl, which is, of course,
That's
kind of a
interesting.
contradiction in terms of getting the wish fulfilled by a magical creature.
Appreciating normalcy. Interesting. Okay, let me see. Question by Ants. Can we edit what events happen in mystery event like we can in random events? Mystery event would be perfect if I could omit fish. I guess that's more a feature request than it is like asking if you do it now. Or...
Well, the idea of mystery is that it's actually a mystery. If you let people choose it, then it's gonna turn into like just something that's used for doubling events, basically. So I'm not too much in favor of adding any filters to that.
Okay, on Steam broadcast, we have a question here by Game Boy Matthew. When will the community card contest pack come out? I don't know if you can see an exact time, but will it be soon or still far away?
Well, in terms of the timeline on that, we have just finished like... Okay, Hugo, you can answer this one.
What? Okay.
Can you repeat the question?
Let's see.
Where are we
When
with
will
the community card pack?
card contest pack come out? I don't know if you can say an exact time, but will it be soon or still far away?
Yes. As the grid said, we don't even have the art contest yet, but
Yeah, it's
at
more
least
like, where are we right now? You can answer that question.
yeah, I mean, we are making progress on the matter though, so it's coming soon enough.
Is that all? Is that all you can give to the community who is waiting with bated breath? Come on.
No, but we are finished sorting every last submission ever. Let me
Yeah.
hold on. Let me get the numbers. Okay, CCP5. Let's see. We have. Oh wait, it's my turn. Yeah, sure. We've had 514 cards to sort for every developer to see. 300 messages dedicated to submission for a whole 105 new banner cards. So those were, among others, a lot of cards to see, but at least it's done. It wasn't easy, but it's done. The art contest should be dawning soon enough.
Yep.
I wouldn't be able to tell you when, though.
Right, I can take it from there. But yeah, basically, we have finished tallying the actual entries now. And the picks have been made, but have not been the voting has been done, but the results are not decided yet. So very shortly we will get to the art contest, I think.
It was great to see everyone's suggestions. They are honestly like really great suggestions.
Yeah, like there are a lot of great suggestions, and if you think about a community card pack, then we will basically choose like one in each category, and it's very hard to limit the picks even to like, let's say 10 per category, because there's so many interesting ones, and we'll only be choosing one of those. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
Okay, we have a question by P41. Will there ever be a new physical release with more DLC included in it?
Sorry, what release?
Physical release.
Huh. I mean, like a new physical release, because there is already a physical release of 100% Orange Juice, in case you didn't know. It is, in fact, getting somewhat close to selling out. So it is a topical thing to bring up, I guess. But it is still available.
Okay, Rolly Hero says here, will there be another event running while the current one is up? I've seen 2 events running at the same time before.
Well, I can't say too much, but yes.
Game Boy Matthew asks here, what is the progress on the audio dramas that was on a 100 OJ roadmap? I don't know if you can say much about it. I understand if you can't.
Right. The audio dramas are basically permanently in the coming soon category, and they will basically just be released when they're done. And the progress on them is basically that, like, all the audio stuff is complete, and we are just waiting on like the video production as well as the key arts. And the video production is like more done than not as well. So it's just that people who do that are like very busy. They work on a lot of games. But it's just like when it's finished, it's gonna release. But we don't have an actual ETA for it. I'm personally very much looking forward to them releasing because I think they're gonna be awesome.
Okay, in the Discord, we have here a question by 46 billion Buenas and Epiness. What would be the next permanent map event after Cakes? And is older map going to have the new war panel?
We have a few, so that's basically about field events. Next field event. We have a few different ideas that we want to add, like, and one of them is probably something that is kind of obvious if you think about it, and that would be God, what was it called again? I'm totally drawing a blank now. Convergence, yes. Like, we already have the true convergence in the game, but basically it just cannot be used in multiplayer because it's too destructive, because at the moment it wipes all the traps. So we need to get that fixed, and it's not entirely easy. But that's definitely an event that we want to make available as a regular field event as well. But there's also some other ones that are on our radar.
Okay, I guess I gotta ask this. Mention this. I like birds. Asks, do you like birds?
Do I like birds? I've never had like too much contact with birds.
You gotta think about it.
Yes, because like I said, I haven't never had like too much contact with birds. I would think that I give them like a neutral like, but our paths haven't crossed all that much. Apart from seagulls, those things are vicious, and I have had some interactions with them.
I like how you're talking about birds as if they're a faction. We haven't crossed paths with that faction.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question here on the Discord. There's multiple by user DJM334. First one is, do the other OG club members have full names?
Yes.
Wow, Cook with 4 wins. Nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, okay. All those wins
the
were
bird
me.
faction.
Sorry, I'm reading the questions. I can't pay attention too much. Sorry. Second question. While it is upcoming, how will the bounty hunt units and OG Dex entries be handled? Will they have new lore?
Yes.
Okay. Third question. Any chance we might see tag team become permanent soon?
Sorry, what was that?
Any chance we might see tag team become permanent soon?
This is quite a common question. And the answer basically remains that we are very cautious about adding new permanent game modes. Another one that people keep asking about is the Chaos mode. Because to some degree, it's always something that people look forward to. But even in like 1 month, the interest may wane. So if it's available the whole year around, maybe it doesn't get enough players because like the overall player numbers are not like big enough to support that many game modes. So sometimes even if a game mode is nice, it's better to have like as something to look forward to on a special occasion than always having the game.
Okay, fourth question. What is the thought process with selecting voice actors, and how does recording voice lines go about? This has always fascinated me.
Let me see that. Can you link me the question? I want to look at it in detail because it's an interesting topic and I want to make sure I answer it correctly.
What do you want me to do?
Can you link me the question?
Oh, link it. Okay, one sec. I'll put it in this chat here. Do you see it?
Yes, I can see. Right. What is the thought process with selecting voice actors?
Question.
I mean, I love this kind of questions. It's just something that requires a bit of thinking to answer. Because there's no simple answer. There's a lot that goes into it. But like in general, I think we already kind of alluded to this in an earlier answer. But like if it just happened to run into like a very interesting voice, like maybe like watching anime or something, then we tend to take note of that and be like, oh, this would be a very interesting voice to get in the game. Like maybe if we get this kind of character in the future, then they would be a good pick for that. So we have like that kind of names, kind of waiting for the right kind of character to appear. And if that is not the case, then we start from looking like, okay, so what kind of personality, like, what should this character sound like? And not just like the quality of voice, but also like, how do they act? And then we're like, okay, so what kind of voice actor can we think of that does this kind of performance? And then we look at the samples and see like, okay, yeah, the voice sounds kind of good, but I wonder if they can do like this specific kind of like character as well, because I don't really see anything like it in the roles that they have done. So it may be something we consider. But basically, after thinking about all this kind of stuff, ideally we will have like, we want someone who is like this voice actor in this specific role. So we can go forward into casting with that kind of concept. And then when we have that, in the best case scenario, we can get that specific voice actor. And even if you don't, then the casting agent can look for someone similar and then give us ideas, and then we can see what actually works. I hope that gave some insight into it.
Let's see. I'm not sure if I asked this already, but Game Boy Matthew asks, is there any plans for more targeted rerun events coming in your future?
Yes, we will be rerunning a lot more events even this year, and we are also planning to retire some more events. Like all of the Season 2 events will be retired once we have time to do it, in the order that they are rerun as well, once they have been rerun. But we'll also be retiring some other events, like we retired that Valentine's event.
Okay. Next question. I guess maybe semi-silly, semi-not. It's in the broadcast. Related to your earlier answer, by Dragon Daughter, were all of your interactions with seagulls in 100% orange juice?
No. Like, I've always like lived on the coast side, so I've had a lot of interactions with seagulls ever since I was a kid. And you don't want to mess with them, basically.
I'm seeing here some comments with regards to our earlier commentary on tag team and/or chaos being permanent. Part of the things we think about as well is like not just a novelty factor, but also like we want to support the modes and the player base and the game property. So, for example, we want to see that people don't just get bored of like these special time modes and have their interest winning a bit later. That's one of our conundrums we face regarding. But yeah, just to tap on that point. Let me see here. Okay, Game Boy Matthew asks, I wonder what is each of the devs' favorite characters to play?
Okay, everyone feel free to chime in.
You first.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I play random a lot, but I found myself playing a lot of the new Season 3 characters. like Popomian, Kuriev, for example, and Poyo 2. I think I kind of like that some of the new characters have pretty simple kits. So maybe I gravitate to that kind of characters in general. I don't really know. It's just something I've noticed. But I also play a lot of just random characters.
For me, I'd have to say, well, in general, I like interesting dynamics. If someone is just like a simple, maybe I guess a really simple tank, I might not want to play it. But I will like evasive fighters. I will like, interestingly, an extreme tank like Kyoko, who can make interesting builds with like attacking builds. But I do also like, for example, characters who build their stats like Nath, because even though they're, as I've mentioned, a type of simple fighter tank, they have to get to that journey. So it's a more interesting dynamic there. And I see I'm being slandered on the chat here, but wow, okay. Someone else can answer next question. Someone else can answer this question regarding their favorite characters.
My favorite character would be most definitely Reika. It's been a character I've played in all modes, even though she's terrible. She's terrible in one of them. Been trying to make her work in pretty much every case. I can't say it's been working 100% of the time, but I'm trying. But yeah, she's just a pretty simple character to play while being complex in how much you can like be effective playing as her with a +2 attack. Reika the anti-Starbo because Starbo gets to be variable in all. Yes, that is real. Reika is just Starbo for all the mods. But yeah, most definitely Reika.
And Scrysa is saying they love Jonathan, Nat, Tomo, and Ailey. I love the characters who can drop and get dropped instantly.
Anyone else want to answer?
I feel like Sweet Eater Tomomo is the easy answer for me.
So
Yeah.
what's the interesting answer?
It's a classic for a reason. Well, like Flare, I sort of just think the game is best when you
Flare.
switch between characters a lot. So I have I just like randomly picking characters. It's fun.
Anyone
You gotta
else want to
experience
answer?
all that the game has to offer.
And did you mention Bobber's comment about that they like Reika the anti-Starbo?
Oh, I thought that was just in addition to the Reika topic earlier. Yeah. Well, there's also Bobber's answer, Nico.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No one beats Nico for
Let's see.
random stuff, go.
Where are we? Okay, Game Boy Matthew asks, will there ever be a character with a banner type card as a hyper or something?
I could see it happening, it would be pretty interesting.
Okay, Dragon Daughter asks, is there a possibility of there being more offensive Season 3 units?
Interesting question. Does that suggest that there isn't an offensive Season 3 unit yet? Is that the case?
I don't know. Well, they're saying more, so it's a comparative.
Pretty much.
Yeah, the question is basically what are we comparing to? Is that suggesting that there isn't an offensive one at all, or are we talking about like some extreme bully type?
Yeah, I'd say the most offensive we have is Mimomo, but you know, she's not only that. And Chu being
Mimomo is more offensive than Chu.
Hyper-wise, I'd say so.
Okay, so Dragon
sorry,
Daughter's clarifying, no, Chu is offensive, but is the only one, which is
Yes.
why I ask.
League of Legends, like hyper-wise, obviously choose the most offensive play-wise, but I think Mimomo all around performs better.
Right. Well, I wonder what I should say. Like I said, we usually get like the kits of the new characters from OJ, so it's not like I can know like all the future season 3 characters and what their kits will look like in terms of answer, but I think in the next DLC pack there might be something pretty interesting.
Okay, question on the Discord. Is Popomi also forklift certified?
That is an excellent question. I think we'll need to ask Hono about that to not get the
Okay.
lore wrong. This is very
Okay,
important.
next question. Okay, next question by Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention her name. That question was by Pandora. Next question by Laura. Parentheses Buff Natsumi. Chaos mode is the most fun that I've had with my friends. Why is it limited to once a year or less? Why can't it be a permanent game mode?
Yeah, well, I kind of answered that already with the tag team question. But
Okay, let me say
yeah.
let me say Pandora's full name, Lulu's floral wife Pandora. There you go, Chipoyo.
Alright. But I could also add that because Chaos mode has a lot of weird stuff in it, some game modes are not really meant as something that can always be maintained, and they might break very easily. So like every time the Chaos mode comes up, we need to go like, okay, so let's see, do the game mode still work? So if it was a permanent mode, we would have like a lot more to consider in the game all the time, like will this still work? So it would be a big nightmare.
Okay, Curio Shade asks, do you ever think there will be a time when new characters stop being added?
I mean, I guess it's possible it will happen sometime in the future. I'm not sure if there's much else that I can say about that.
Just small tangent, cause I want to be sure we get through all the questions. How long will we be streaming more for?
I think we'll go for another hour, like usually it's 2 hours.
Oh, hour. Okay, so we have some good time. All right, that's fine. Okay, so new question here by Game Boy Matthew. Will the cost of new DLC characters be similar to the price of the recent DLC character pack releases, such as Momomo and Curry?
Yeah, I mean, the DLC pricing is pretty standard. Like, if it has like the same content as other packs, like same amount of characters and nothing extra, then it's gonna cost the same as the other DLC packs. That's how it always is, basically. Like, there can be something that increases the price, like maybe a campaign, for example, or something else additional it might have, but in general, the same kind of DLC has the same price always.
Okay, we have a question here about let's see. By DJM334. Question about Chaos Mode. Will we see the Troublemakers playable in 4 Heavenly Kings next year?
It's possible. It's definitely something we didn't have time for this year, like adding their playable version in the 4 Heavenly Kings. So we'll see about next year. It's hopefully, let's put it like that.
And Rolly Hero here asks, least favorite panel. Mine is drop.
Boss.
Bill?
I need to think about this. Probably usually boss panel.
Oh yes, Goo, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you know, I guess I'd say Goo as well. Yeah. Okay, back to the Discord. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Fantaseal24 asks, are there any plans for 100% Orange Juice Steam startup movie for the Steam Points shop?
Oh yes, absolutely. It's definitely on to-do list. Like, hopefully we can add like even multiple ones. Like, we recently added animated background of Beginner Town. So it was just like we finally got something in the point shop. We want to try more stuff there. It's just limited resources and so on. But I definitely have been meaning to add like the startup sequence for 100% Orange Juice to the point shop for like a startup animation.
Definitely.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, I lost my spot in the broadcast chat. Okay, Nysync asks, how many spectators can you have when the game is going on?
I think
Just
4. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, that's caught up to Steam broadcast. Back to Discord. Pandora asks, when will Lich and Rowan come back from the store?
Oh
What?
dear.
Well, I guess it's a silly question. I thought they meant like another kind of store. But never mind.
All right.
Okay, let's see. Okay, Filibusters aside no name guy asks, any chance of an events rerun during this one?
I thought you already asked that, and I answered it. Did someone else ask like the exact same question?
Maybe. I'm just catching up to the Discord one.
But the
They asked multiple
answer.
questions here.
Okay, so we had 2 people asking the exact same question. Well, the answer is still that I cannot really say much. I can only say yes.
Okay, how are the original OJ guys doing? They're doing all right. Still working on Lich and Rowan.
Well, I don't really want to speak for other people, but as far as I know, they're doing all right.
Okay, how are you guys doing? You guys all right?
Oh wow. Oh, now it's getting scary. They're asking about us. Like, what is this? I can't get away from
It's
that.
just a
I can't really
question
speak for
here.
myself, but
I'm okay.
yeah,
I'm doing
I'm doing pretty good lately.
yeah,
Okay,
that's
next
awesome.
question is, can I play?
Who is asking?
Filibusters aside no name guy. In the Discord.
Yes, you can log in right now, join a lobby, and start playing.
How will BH units OJ Dex entries work? Will they have pins?
Pins. Maybe at some point. Probably not initially. Because you can't play as them, so how would you even earn the pins? But we do plan to add like lore sections to them.
Will
Just the
Character
mechanics will
100
be a
be
bit
any-
different.
Okay. Will Character 100 be anyone special?
Maybe.
Okay. Audio drama DLC next. Any ideas on prices?
Prices. That's actually not actually something that has been decided yet, but okay, so we released a Seabed audio novels a while back. So yeah, content-wise, they're probably a bit comparable, like around similar length in terms of content. But as a DLC for a bit more expensive game, I guess they're also a bit more expensive. And for OJ, we always try to push all the DLC prices like as low as possible, so that more people can get them because we have a bigger player base. So we try to get the returns that way. So they'll probably be cheaper than that, but the actual pricing has not been decided yet.
Okay. What's the Popo Derby?
I think we already said enough about that.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Where am I? One sec. Okay, Game Boy Matthew asks, will all the new cards added have a different alt card design? If so, how much extra work does it add to the process to making the game?
If I understand the question correctly, then none, because the alt designs are not something we do on a card by card basis. It's basically something that will work for every game every card in the game once we add a new design. So the alternative card designs that are in the game right now can be used with any card, and they will work just the same without any additional configuration per card.
Okay, I Like Birds asks, will there ever be a documentary detailing the life cycle of a Popo in their natural habitat?
I think we'll need someone from the National Geographic to come and film it.
Okay, let's see. Back to Discord. I heard Dio Harrington asks. I heard a while ago that there were plans to port the game to a new, more modern engine. How's that going?
Okay, so well, so originally
Rafa
that was
does mention.
okay, yeah.
Rafa does mention.
Yeah, I know.
shortly after
I
you're
remember seeing
already
that.
playing
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So originally that was about the Unity port that got cancelled. You can go read the story on our Patreon page. It's like the pinned poster. But after that, like that was already a long time ago. So after that, we have basically been porting the game to SDL instead, and it is already done. So, like Rafa says, you are already playing the new version of the game. It just looks like the old version, basically.
Okay, and Afro Pajamas parentheses asks, will characters from FBF visual novels like Seabed ever get added to 100% owner juice?
Probably not. Like ever since the beginning, it's been like our policy that we don't add characters from other games to the game because then it wouldn't feel like 100% orange juice. But there might be some other crossover, like costumes or something like that, that would feel more appropriate.
Okay, Killbot asks, obligatory question, Boss Golem when? Pleading face.
Sorry, was that a question?
Moss Golem when?
Oh, okay.
Pleading
I thought you were
face.
just saying the user's name.
Oh no!
Well, in the future.
Ren. Parentheses, please DM me Sora fan art asks, any new info about the mobile port? Lesson 3C.
Well, it's hard to say what's new info because you may have missed something we have said previously. But basically, the game can already run on Android. But we cannot release the game on Android just because it runs there. Because to actually be playable on mobile, you need to do a lot of changes to the way the game works, and one of them is, of course, the whole networking, because the game still uses Steam for the multiplayer, so you cannot like directly run it through mobile at the moment. So we'll first need to enable support for the Epic Online service, which can be run on any platform. Only then that will be possible, but there's also a lot more that goes to it, like we will need to make some UI changes, and then there's other considerations like voice licensing and stuff like that. So even though the game already runs technically on Android, the actual release is probably still a lot further along.
Okay, Game Boy Matthew in the Steam broadcast asks, how are the surveys done and processed? What is the idea behind them? I don't know if you can speak much about it, but I'm interested to know how much helps you make the game better.
Oh yeah, to start with the last point, they definitely help like a lot. Like, I'm very happy that we have been getting so many survey answers. Like, when we did the first survey, I was kind of hoping we would get like 100 answers or something. That would also already be very useful, but we got like 1,000 answers. So that gives like a very nice statistical base to actually look at some stuff. And we can also filter them so that we can see like how are people answering the question who have played the game a short time versus those who have played the game for a long time, and see that kind of perspective difference as well. It's super useful. Like, please keep answering the surveys. So
Yeah.
in general, there's like some baseline questions that we probably will ask in pretty much all the surveys, and then another big thing is that we want to like get feedback on the things we have done recently, just to see like if they hit the mark. And then the third one is like trying to gauge what people are actually interested in, so that we can better direct our limited resources into doing the things that people actually want.
Yeah, it's basically a good way of collating feedback. It helps give good data that we can try to reframe as we need based on how we give the questions, control questions, asking about this and that. For example, and I've also been personally interested in giving, having more questions with regard to like if we're gonna change or balance things as well. There's various things being thought of regarding, but yeah, it helps give it helps us know what what people actually think of things, and helps direct how we should approach things thereof. So yeah, it's good data.
Yeah. We try to make note of things that we need to ask in the next survey, and like I mentioned earlier with the bounty hunt question, we still sometimes forget, but we'll keep making more surveys.
Yeah, because we do want to know what people think. It does help us think of what to do next with regards to like our next objectives. For example, wait, I was going to say something else. What was it? Oh, one hurdle is like, just the actual framing and giving of questions to make sure we try to get the data as we can, as actionable as possible. For example, like, we have talked about various things internally with regards to the game, and the data can pop with that. But for example, say we're trying to do balance more, we're trying to ask some questions related. And one hurdle is like, how do we ask and approach things to get the data we need to help inform us of what decision to make thereof. So there are some hurdles related, but yeah, it's very good for like just getting to know what people actually want and think of things. So
Yep. And speaking of surveys, we actually just launched a different separate survey on our Kickstarter for those who backed the previous project, asking for feedback on the previous Plushy Kickstarter, and also what people would like to see next. So basically we are starting to plan the next possible Plushy Kickstarter. So if you got the email, please fill that survey as well.
Okay, next question on the Steam broadcast. Rolly Hero asks, will there be more ways to spend stars besides daily missions once the options to spend stars run dry?
Can you repeat that?
Will there be more ways to spend stars besides daily missions once the options to spend stars run dry?
Well, if we can think of something, then maybe, but I don't think we have any ideas at the moment. So at the moment, it's pretty much the challenges. And of course, well, yeah, it's always a bit of difficult, like, some people feel the game has too much stuff, because of course you can play it for a long time, but then we also have people who have like unlocked everything in the game. But basically, we don't want the game to be impossible to get everything. Like, if it put the benchmark to the like top 10 players who play the most, then it's probably gonna be a bit overwhelming to all the other people. So sometimes you can just have everything, but it would be nice to have like a bit more things that you can like buy repeatedly, like maybe some kind of vending machine or something.
Okay, we have a question here. I cannot pronounce this name, but quite a lot of lore is hidden away in Hono's tweets and other sources. For example, Starbo's backstory. Are there any plans to include it in the game itself somehow?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what we have like the OJ decks for, basically to add the most important lore to the game.
Okay. DJM334 asks, is there any chance we get something like an OJ art book one day with concept art from Hono and stuff?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
Oh, is there any chance we get something like an OJ art book one day with concept art from Hono and stuff?
Okay, that's funny because like I was just thinking about the next Kickstarter and what we could do with that, and I was actually thinking, it came to my mind as well that in theory we could make an art book. Like, it could be something that we make in the future, because like we have a lot of not just concept art, we have concept art, we have card art, we have event art, we have like a lot of art by now, so maybe it's something we can do in the future.
Sefa asks, is there any chance for Fishy Fish to return or be added to retired events? Or I guess to mean Master Anglers.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's a bit overdue, so probably sometime soon. And we have actually been even though it's not directly in answer to the question, we have actually been thinking of some improvements to the Fish-a-Fish event itself, like the minigame.
Game Boy Matthew asks, how much dev time is dedicated to making new content versus like fixing bugs and doing quality of life / balance changes?
Yeah, it varies a lot. And in the first survey, we were even asking people like, how would you like us to allocate our dev time? It was just like an interesting random question to ask. But it depends. Like sometimes when we add a big feature, it adds a lot of complications, and we end up like fixing stuff afterwards for a long time. Like a card pack, for example, that adds a lot of new interactions. But in general, so even if we want to like say new content, like even that involves a lot of different things. So probably need to separate those a bit. But if you just think about how much time goes into like maintenance, like bug fixing and technical improvements out of all the dev time, it's probably like somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50%, I would say. 40-50% maybe.
Okay, how do I pronounce this? Tyre Lan asks, what are the current thoughts on the implementation of banners? Are there things you'd like to change, or have planned around them, to increase their use and impact, or are they considered to be in a good spot?
I think they're pretty okay at the moment. I don't see many issues, and once we add more of them, then maybe some more options will be relevant. But at the moment, I think they work pretty well.
They're very new. Like even back when, for example, back when we first did gift cards, they were pretty new too. It took time to get it going and have a diverse selection towards.
Yeah.
Banners are basically like having an effect. That's less around hoarding your hand slot and more around occupying a tile, which does have counterplay, thankfully, and just keeps an effect going. So it kind of has that factor of like having this effect balanced through it being able to be negated or taken down. So there's that to consider, which is unique.
Yep.
I don't know what this question means. You can have an attempt, but Dragon Daughter asks, is QB the Roaring Knight?
If someone knows what that is, feel free to answer.
I don't know what that means. Game Boy Matthew asks, will there be a... What?
She could be.
Yes, she could be, definitely.
Okay.
Okay, will there be new card types in the near future or far future?
Maybe in the far future, like if you're talking about entirely new card types, then those don't happen very often. Like we just got the banner, and before that was Gift several years ago. Like a new card type is a pretty big addition, because there's a lot of things that interact with specific card types, so you don't want to dilute that pool a lot. But if there's something that ends up coming to mind that actually feels like a big niche that for some reason is not fulfilled yet, then maybe, but no plans for new card types at the moment.
Back on Discord, Space Penguin asks, for Shifu's Hyper Ideal World, how are the Roboball visuals placed onto the field? Are they just random, or do they have set places?
I don't have the answer to that. And we don't have any of the programmers in the chat at the moment, so
we have like 40 minutes left.
Yeah, sure. You can pick the more major ones, and then if you have time left, you can go to the slightly sillier ones in the end.
I guess. Let's see. Canaria asks, are there any plans to support the game? Are there any plans to support the game on other platforms other than mobile, like on Switch, Xbox, or PlayStation?
Yeah, I think like Switch is definitely like one of the big goals that we wanted to go to, even all the way back when we started working on the Unity edition. Like that was one of the big things we want to accomplish, being able to release the game on Switch. But it has many of the same issues as mobile. I think it's gonna be a bit easier to release on Switch than mobile, to be honest. but it has many of the same considerations. But it's definitely something that we are working toward.
Okay, let me see here.
We also have answers
Hey.
from both Chipoyo and Chomoroko about the question about ideal world. Apparently, roboballs are placed upon individual panels and they shoot units who walk underneath them. And Chomoroko adds, and they are random.
Curio
They're
Shade
randomly placed,
asks.
that is.
Curio Shade asks, question-wise, do you think there's ever a chance 100% OJ could expand into a new game, like how 200% mixed juice exists?
I mean, both 100% OJ and 200 mixed juice are just different games by Orange Juice, so of course they can always make a new game.
I think they're asking like, yeah, a new game from like in the OJ verse, similar to 200% mixed juice. Yeah.
I mean, all of them have their own place in the OJ verse, basically. So,
No, but like for example, can we ever see like 300% fruit punch? Or something like that. Like that's a
sure,
new
but that's
game,
just a
similar to how
game name.
mixed juice
It's
is.
not like 200% mixed juice has a similar gameplay to 100% orange juice. They are completely different games.
This is just me, like personally, randomly spitballing, but it would be cool to see like something dicey dungeons adjacent, with a whole dice motif. That'd be fun, but it's whatever. Let's see. Game Boy Matthew asks, will there be more plushies released in the future, whether that is in real life or in a game store?
Oh yeah, so I just commented on this earlier, but we had just earlier this week, I think, we sent out surveys on Kickstarter to the backers of the Wave 4 plushie campaign, basically asking both for feedback on the campaign and also thoughts on future plushies, which means that we are basically trying to decide if we should make a new campaign sometime soon, and if we do, what kind of campaign it should be. So definitely, if you were a backer, fill that survey to give us some better idea about it.
Okay, Zephyr Dragon Lord in the Discord asks, is there a character you all personally feel don't get enough love from the community, if any?
Huh. So like in terms of people talking about them a lot, getting fan art.
Yeah,
and
I
so
guess like
on.
fan appreciation or something.
Interesting question. I'm sure there are some, but does anyone have anything that comes to mind?
Not really. Oh, Chipoyo or Bobber says Mira. I think I've seen no Mira content like ever.
Well, I definitely see some Mira fan art as well. So I wouldn't say they don't get anything, but of course you can feel that they don't get as much as others. That's totally fair.
If we don't have more answers, I can go to the next question. Oh, there's no Trollite fan art.
We'll need to fix that.
Oh, true.
Let's see. Okay, I guess next question. Let me see here. Am I caught up to the Steam? Let's see. Game Boy Matthew asks, will there be more avatar backgrounds added to the store soon?
And also clarifying, I don't know why I said avatar, so I guess just meaning like the Steam backgrounds. So yeah, would love to add more.
Or they could be in the lobby. Avatar backgrounds. Maybe that.
No, I think they meant the Steam store. But
I don't
yeah,
know.
I guess I'm not sure.
Okay, back to Discord. Let me see here. Ark asks, will you guys ever play different games on stream? I want to see the OG devs play Buckshot Roulette.
Well,
First question.
in the first place, if I'm doing one of these dev streams, I literally have to be streaming 100% Orange Juice, or I cannot show it on the Steam page, so probably not gonna happen for one of these.
maybe we could add multiplayer to the arcade mini games and then play that.
Next question: do the OJ Club members play other games too? I think it's funny if they play Balatro.
That does not sound like a question.
Well, do they play other games? I guess like in terms of like lore.
Oh, OJ Club members. Sorry, my mind was
Yeah, OJ
elsewhere.
Club members. Yeah.
Yes. That's a good question. I cannot think of anything in the story so far that mentioned other games. You would assume that they have played a bunch of different games in addition to 100% Orange Juice, because most of the club members were not like OJ pros to begin with. But there has been nothing specific to confirm what that something might have been. I don't think, at least.
And while I still have to go through the other questions, Game Boy Matthew does clarify for the earlier question before avatar backgrounds. They do mean the backgrounds in lobbies.
So the avatar backgrounds in game lobbies. Those get added quite regularly. Like every time we add a new event, for example, you can unlock some new backgrounds. Even the current event added 4 or 5 new backgrounds, I think.
Okay, let me finish off. Okay, this one's kind of interestingly lore-based, back from ARC, because I want to go through the main questions as I
Yep.
can. We have like half an hour left. Does Kate ever wonder or ask about what she was like before regression? It's a lore-based question. I don't know if you have to answer or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have a direct answer, but you also have to remember that in the case of most characters, their setting in 100% Orange Juice is a bit happier than possibly in their original game. Because, major spoilers, most of the characters are copies of the original. They are not actually the original character.
Easy.
In the Steam broadcast, Game Boy Matthew asks, any plans to add new in-game dices to the game?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of dice and we keep adding them regularly, but because we have so many dice, the bar is pretty high. Like, we want some new idea, like new kind of visual for a dice that we don't have yet, and we already have a lot of them, and there's only so much you can do in that limited space, like the graphic size of the dice, so that's why we don't add them a lot recently. It's just because there already are so many of them.
Dragon Daughter asks, is there any possibility of there being alternative menu backgrounds, as in replacing the bubbles rising in the lobby and main menu?
Huh. Yeah, maybe. Could be something we add in the future.
DJ M334 asks, is there any reason why QP Shooting has yet to be released on Steam? I heard it was due to licensing issues. Are you allowed to specify what's preventing it exactly from being localized?
Well, yeah, it's because someone else has the license. I guess I can say that much.
Okay. In the Discord, I cannot pronounce this name, but since all of the base game CPU enemies and bosses are playable characters, and all the co-op bosses are playable in 4 Heavenly Kings Chaos Mode, will bounty hunt monsters and bosses ever become online playable characters? Moose and Chocolate Moose can of course just be a color palette swap of the same playable character.
So playable bounty hunt units. Yes, it's maybe I even answered about this before already, but it's definitely something we have discussed, and yeah, probably it might eventually happen. But there's also a lot of them, so doing all of them at once, for example, would be a lot to do, a very big undertaking, and they would all require hypers as well, and so on. So, and like their kits as they are basically designed for bounty hunt, so most of their abilities would not really work in normal mode, even if you try to find like something a bit similar. So there's a bit of an extra challenge with them.
P41 asks, any plans on adding rare versions of cards to packs? Example, same art but special visual effect applied to the card.
We have actually talked about this, and I don't think we would do exactly this, because we want people to be able to like get every card in the pack instead of it being like an eternal drain. But we might add like alternative rare versions. It might just be something like if you get all 9 versions of a card, then you unlock like a special frame version of that or something.
Okay, in the Discord, S Crane OJ Theory asks, if Daru were to be part of a character pack, who would he be bundled with?
Interesting question. Well, in terms of how we structure the packs, if we add like an all new character, then probably they would be paired with another all new character. Although I guess there are already like some kind of exceptions, like Sumika came with Sukuri for the 6 billion years, so it's not exactly an all new character. So I guess that might also happen if there's like a big enough connection, thematic or otherwise. Yeah, no, I think it would make sense that if the were to be added, they would be added like a second Alessandro related character, but I'm not sure what that would be.
Nysync asks, is there any chance of Steam, come on, where is it? Any plans for a new War of the Human Tanks game or DLC?
Well, that would be great, and we talk to Akiniku Banzai every once in a while. They still attend events, and they have actually said that they would like to make more games. They may just be saying that because they haven't made a new game for a while, but they actually still exhibit at events like every year. Mostly just selling some merchandise, but anyway, maybe they will get around to it again one day. Would be pretty fun.
They did announce War of the Human Tanks Human Tank Factory.
Yes, still looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark VD100 is forwarding a friend's question. Can we have the game show how many panels are left to move while the player is at an intersection?
We have had some other people comment on that as well. I think it might be a nice feature as well.
Game Boy Matthew asks, how hard is it to balance the whole cast to make them more balanced, but not lose the unique or fun aspects of those characters?
Was that about the bounty hunt units?
What?
Was that about the bounty hunt units or what?
There's no bounty hunter units.
Sorry, what was the question?
How hard is it to balance the whole cast to make them more balanced, but not lose the unique or fun aspects of those characters?
I guess that's more in the sense of like, how hard is it to add a new unit while considering the whole existing cast of units?
It's less about addition and more about balancing the current cast, they're saying.
I mean, it's not like we ever go, okay, let's rebalance every unit in the game. That wouldn't make any sense. So that's not really something that happens. So it's more like when we add a new unit, we consider the balance, and sometimes we rebalance some old unit, like one or two of them. Like, I'm not entirely sure of the angle of the question.
I guess it's more like a general question of like, how hard is it to balance characters in the cast? So, for example, like, we routinely discuss among the characters, figure out what makes them who they are and why we play as them, and we generally want to preserve that while we try to see what angle we could try to adjust them in next, right? So.
Popper adds, I think what is being asked is about rebalancing a character without eating up their identity like Yuki Dangerous. So I think I got a bit too caught up on that all characters aspect of the question.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's difficult. It's definitely difficult. And like, of course, we are very, very well aware that no one likes a nerf, even a small nerf. So it would be nice if the only kind of balancing you ever had to do was buff characters, but of course that's not always the case. But whenever we do changes, then not losing their identity is like one of the biggest considerations.
Yeah, we generally want to preserve like who they are and why we have them, and we try to work from that. Like the game is has a lot of granularity. For example, like each many stat spreads are pretty shared. Even some point adjustments could change how a character can play. So, for example, whenever people discuss how they want to see changes to characters who might need them, like for example, Tio Tirada's comes into discussion, and it's for example like even though some people say, "Hey, this character's dynamic is due to these aspects of this character, and this stat line and this hyper," an example. Like someone could be attached, maybe someone can go like an angle of like we can adjust this, and then do this in and do this in exchange, and then for example, if someone can still be attached to that, attached to that original idea to begin with. So like when you have enough a large enough user base, everyone's gonna like aspects of the game. It's only natural. We want that. Like you want people to like the game and like how things play out. It's always literally as per the word, a tough balancing act. Whereas also like what the community wants versus what developers may want, what's better for the game at large and for the experience you take on. It's a lot of questions really. Even though it can be even it can be technically just maybe value changes, it's still a discussion as to like what it actually brings about or inspires. And that comes routinely as a topic, for example, in testing for characters as well, really. So,
and Bobber is adding that
Chipoyo says, I'd say the game actually lacks granularity in a lot of ways, like how one stat point can do so much to a character. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like each point has a significant impact, because we don't deal with like values in the hundreds or thousands. We deal with like generally individual to double digits, mainly individual digits, right? So that's what I agree on. Yeah,
that's a big challenge. Like stat adjustments are very difficult to make because we have so few moving parts. Basically, like even 1 point difference, it's like a huge difference in the overall kit.
Yeah.
So if
like,
the character has like a passive, those are much easier to adjust.
Yeah, we are exploring more ideas of how to like, gather feedback and think about how we want to possibly change things. Like that's why we're doing changes more often now as of late. As you'd be surprised at how many things can go through extensive discussion, really, from the community to also internally, and we try to want to do what's best. But we want to try to actually like possibly make more changes as well and gather feedback related and see how we're faring, because we don't want to stagnate too much either. So that's part of why, for example, we're trying to utilize surveys more to try to gather feedback and see how we should approach things, plan things out, and possible contingencies related to just try to improve things, right? So it's a lot of planning, yeah. Let me see. Back to the Steam broadcast here. I do see your question regarding forwarding from the Discord, but I kind of want to not. If people don't mind, I don't want to like double ask a question. Yeah. I do plan on going through all the Discord questions, so I hope I can hold off that for now.
Yep.
Okay, so username Dads asks, any plans on adding a way to check boss HP outside of landing on their own panel?
That is a good point. I guess you can't really see it. Maybe in the like the field info, you could add some display for it. That could make sense.
Yeah, it's probably like basically a UI question. Like I imagine, like maybe similar to co-op, we can even have or similar to BH as well. We can have like Oh man, I was gonna say similar to Bounty Hunt and Co-op, you could have a UI profile at the top, but then that would conflict in Bounty Hunts. So, never mind.
Yeah, I don't think I would put it like anywhere like actively visible, but you could probably put it like in the info pop-up. And the question was just about boss, but I guess if you do that, you might as well do it for all the wild units as well, so that you can see all of their hit points.
Okay, Game Boy Matthew asks, how will custom campaigns work in 100 OJ? Is there anything you can say about the level editor with campaigns?
Well, the level editor and campaign editor are like two completely different things, basically. Of course, you can use both to make an even more intricate campaign, but basically they are unrelated. So basically the idea is that similarly to how we can add more events at the moment, then players would have tools to make their own cutscenes and string them together into missions. So yeah, that's pretty much it's like giving basically the same tools that we have at the moment, except of course we always have the option that developers can do some extra effort to implement something new into a cutscene that we didn't have previously, but it would basically have everything that you can do in the game at the moment for a new cutscene, and you would be able to combine those into a campaign.
Okay, we have like 50 messages left on the Discord and not too much time. So hopefully, if you don't mind, I'm going to stick strictly on the Discord questions for now. We can go through faster, hopefully.
Sure. But
so
of course,
continuing on.
Of course, I'll just say that if we don't get around to answering all of them, then we can leave the rest for the next stream. It's always good to have more questions than not.
I guess. But yeah, finishing up on S. Crane OJ Theory's questions. Is a brown circle behind Popami in her hyper art her tail or part of the background?
It's her tail.
Other art shows her with it. Oh, okay, it's tail. Okay.
Yeah.
Have there been any songs you wanted to put into the game but couldn't find a proper loop point?
Oh yeah, that happens a fair bit. Like even when OJ picks a song, sometimes they're like, "Oh, it's a nice song," but actually it's only like 1 minute long, and we can't really make it loop. So it does happen.
Okay. Last question from this user: will there be an option to have non-4-player OJ matches? For example, if you and two friends are playing together, you don't have to play with the CPU.
Sorry, what was that?
Will there be an option to have non-4-player OJ matches? So, for example, if you and two friends are playing together, you don't have to play with a CPU. So basically, like 2 players or 3 players, and not 4 players.
I don't think it's something we have actively discussed. Like, in principle, I can see why some people would want that, but I'm also not immediately sure how it would like affect the overall game. So I'll put that as something to think about, I guess.
Okay, let's see. Okay, Philbuster's assigned no name guy asks, any plans for more DLC campaigns in the future?
Probably. I mean, they're always nice. It's yeah, I would like to do more of those. Like, of course, not everyone cares about campaigns, so we don't want to like add them to every DLC, and then people will complain, oh, it's more expensive than usual. But it's definitely something we want to add every once in a while.
Let's see here.
Okay, we have time for at least start one more quick one.
Okay, I have a. They're not questions per se, but it's half a larger question at large.
Okay, sure.
Based on Blue Hill
Let's go with
Philbuster Stein No Name Guy's comments here. Basically, like they're not actual questions per se, but basically, will we ever get modern versions of base characters as outfits? Sprite-wise.
Modded versions of base game. What?
They're not questions per se, but Blue Hill and No Name Guy's comments together basically end up with this question. Do you want me a link or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the question.
Okay, here's a link.
Who do I
It's there.
play for this last one? Hmm.
So we see Blue
Wow.
Hill and No Name Guy's comments there. That's basically
Oh,
the
sorry, modern
question.
versions. Yeah, I misheard that. Okay. So as outfits probably means like skins, like like swimsuits and stuff like that.
collectibles.
Yeah, it might happen. It's something we have discussed for many years. Like it's been a frequent talk about updating the old visuals because there's such a big disparity in how they look compared to the more recent ones. Especially like the base game characters. The visual assets are not quite as high level as the new ones. But at the same time, we know that just updating them would have resistance. Like some people just like the original look and wouldn't want that to go away and so on. So if we do it, it would probably be as alternative skins, like in the question. But at the same time, it is a lot of work. So it's something we want to do, but our artists are always busy. So far it hasn't happened. Maybe in the future.
Okay, question on the Discord here. I cannot pronounce this name, but any future plans to rebalance card deck point cost in co-op? Will there come a day where gift exchange gets its star cost increased?
Well, we did just nerf gift exchange by lowering it
Yeah,
to
that's
max
the card
1,
right under
so
it.
I don't think increasing the price would make much sense. Because it doesn't really give any benefit to most people. It's just like a hampering kind of card. Those being like expensive generally doesn't make any sense.
To this I
Okay,
agree,
so go ahead.
To this I agree, yeah. Doesn't make much sense, at first glance at least.
Okay, next question is by username 4 asking, is there some kind of schedule on when specific events might get reran?
Yes. Okay, so in general we schedule broadly stuff that we want to release like around roughly like a year into the future. And recently we have been trying to get better about scheduling events and stuff like that. At the moment we have a bunch of events scheduled for the future, and we'll see if we can like we have made some changes to the way we schedule stuff, and we want to see if that works. So if it holds, then we'll have a bunch of free runs coming up.
Okay, Smoking Cascade asks in the Discord, is there any possibility of Sumika getting a passive like Kanata and Arnell, but for the discard pile?
What would that be like?
I guess like being able to view them, clairvoyance, something like that. I don't know. The discard pile, because it's relevant to her, right?
Yeah, this person's definitely talking about adding a mechanic where the Sumika can see the cards on the discard pile.
That is an interesting topic. Like, if she sees the discard pile, it's a pretty big feature, not just for the hyper, because it's actually quite major information being able to see what people are discarding.
It actually overlaps kind of an interesting point earlier on the boss HP question, where it's like, do you want that kind of memorization of such background information to be?
Yeah, but it's not even a
on
question of
player
memorization, because
or
you can't actually
visible?
see what people are discarding at the moment. So it would be adding something completely new.
Okay, actually, that is basically all the Discord questions, the very core ones.
Alright, nice.
I
Good
can ask
timing because
more-
we have less than 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
it sounds like you
I
have
can ask
some more.
more. I can ask more personal or silly ones. Like,
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Here is Zephyr Dragonlord asking, "What are all your favorite cards and the community cards from the most recent contest changes any?"
Can you repeat?
Oh, what are all your favorite cards? And did the community cards from the most recent contest change this any?
Huh. Interesting question. Are hypers included? Because suddenly it would
Sorry
be a
about the
hyper.
delay. I had to swap my
I mean,
headphone
I think that the question,
battery.
the framing is kind of curious because favorite cards implies in the current game, but then the community cards aspect is asking like what's not in game yet and what's hypothetical. So
But they're talking about
I
the
don't know.
most recent community pack. I assume they're talking about community pack 4.
Oh, that kind of community card.
Then it leveled just to be my wild friends.
My friend.
My wild heck.
It's the only answer. That is true. Lucky Sevens is great. Like we mentioned for the upcoming pack as well, like there are a lot of good suggestions, and only one of them gets picked. So we always end up with very good cards in the community card packs, just because of the cream floating the top pretty much. Yeah, Chipoyo adds My Wild Friends is the best card because you have to give special attention to it every
My Wild
update.
Friends is the reason why we now treat normal balancing same as bounty hunt balancing mechanically.
Yeah, that speaks a lot.
That is kind of true, yeah.
Let's see the Steam discussion here. Anyone have any more questions? We're kind of caught up for now, so.
And if we happen to miss your question in the chat earlier, feel free to post it again. We actually have a technical question by Game Boy Matthew. Are used cards and discarded cards in the same pile? Okay, it's not exactly the same thing, because you can have a copy of a card in your hand, and if it's a copy, then it does not go in the discard when it has been played. And that's something that can sometimes be confusing Sumica players. But normally, whether you play or discard a card, it will go to the discard pile. Let's see.
So we see a question from DGM334 here. There were those silhouettes from the fruit bat indirects. Why were some of them different? Will we ever see them in full color?
Which silhouettes would that be about? Oh, yeah,
They were
like when
saying
we
from a
post
fruit bat
like
indirect.
a new castings with like a mystery silhouette, then they're often different for the final version, yeah. And that's because at that point actual unit arts may not be done yet, so they may end up with different. And I have been posting some of those on Patreon before, and will be posting some more in the future, no doubt. I do a lot of like digging in all kinds of random archives for stuff that hasn't really been used outside of internal talks, for interesting things that could be posted later.
Okay, I guess we can do a silly question. Why does
Alright.
Popo say mean things?
Well,
Define mean.
she has a bit of a bad personality. You can't hold it against her.
Oh, DPM334 asks, any chance we see more of the concept stuff posted on the free tier soon as well?
Well, I try to put some free post every once in a while as well, so... But at this point I can't say like what's gonna be on a free post. I pretty much just go with what I can think of when I'm with some spare time and feel like, okay, let's post something on Patreon, what do I have at hand? We have a question from Game Boy Matthew. Will all maps ever be redone or remade in some way? And definitely, like, we have done it before, like made sense to previous maps. And now that we have the warp node panels, I think we'll probably be adding those to some of the old maps. Like, not a lot of them, but maybe some of them that have a special movement issues, like the complete split maps, for example. Maybe some of those might get warp nodes added.
Lore accurate early gameplay. This is true.
Oh, there's more questions. I cannot pronounce this name, but what exactly does Fruit Bat Factory do? I know they handle localization and publishing, but are they involved in writing code or the story as well?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat?
Oh. What exactly does Fruit Bat Factory do? I know they handle localization and publishing, but are they involved in writing code or the story as well?
Okay, so I guess this is specifically about OJ, not just like what we do in general. So,
Well, they're asking what we do.
yeah, but sounds like it's about OJ. So, basically we have done like all the development work for 100% OJ since 2013, maybe. Definitely 14, probably 2013, you can say. Like all the new code and so on. So, last 12, 13 years. And we do like a lot of the less conceptual design work, like event gameplay and just general gameplay stuff in general, stuff like that. And some of the story stuff as well. Anything else to say on that?
At the current moment, Fruit Bat Factory are the sole programmers of Orange Juice.
Yeah, well, at the current moment, but also for the last 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. DJM334 asks, what language is OJ programmed in? If you're allowed to say, how are units and cards programmed?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have any actual programmers in the stream to give more detailed answers on the programming questions, but just to answer the programming language, it's basically in C++, or otherwise I'm getting an Axiom back later. So I can't really give a detailed answer to the how are units and cards program, but I can say that there are very long checklists involved. That always get longer. And we did actually hit the 2-hour mark now, so I think the stream is probably dropping off the homepage and we can start wrapping this up, because luckily we managed to handle the main questions as well, so that's awesome. Thank you everyone who brought in so many nice questions. There were a lot of good ones that were very fun to answer, so that's always very welcome. And I hope we are able to give some good answers that also gave some new info that people didn't have before. That's always the goal. And as always, if something comes to mind, feel free to ask it in the next dev stream we do. I love when we have a lot of questions waiting when we start, so we don't need to worry too much about the downtime. So I will be posting the VOD on our YouTube after this. Assuming there was no problem with the video, I hope not. But thanks everyone who came to play on the dev team, and also everyone in the stream
Thank you.
who tuned in. Thank you so much, and hope you have fun with the new event and all the new OJ stuff in general. And we hope to see you around. Have a good day, everyone.
Take care.
See you.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.